For someone whose DNA is partially constructed of video games, I always seem to be late to the punch when it comes to new releases and IPs. For example, I didn't start Skyrim until 2015 when the world had already played, beaten, and modded it to death. Luckily for me, however, this nasty lethargic tick of mine comes with an undoubtedly positive perk. Usually I'm able to avoid the vile criticism that comes with new games, and boy oh boy did this help me to take into Days Gone. Because if I would have listened to the gaming YouTubers, read review bombing articles, or glanced at the Metacritic score, I probably would have never played the game. But seeing that I missed all that, and the launch bugs that were inevitably fixed, I dove headfirst into a post-apocalyptic, zombie-infested, open-world biker game that absolutely blew my mind. Sure, I saw that gameplay trailer of Deke taking on that horde at the sawmill like everybody else, and honestly, that's all I had to go off of. And thankfully, it didn't disappoint. So, why to this day do people shit all over this game as if it was some sort of swing and miss? Well, I think I have the answer. I think the first problem people had with the game was the super vanilla and predictable storyline. To be fully out in the open here, I wasn't too thrilled about it either. It did have its moments at the end when they explained the virus and Outbreak Day where my attention was momentarily grabbed. And when we find out that crazy twist at the end with O'Brien, damn, that was really cool. But it did take a freaking lifetime to get there. The pace of the story, especially in the beginning act, was duller than an all-exclusive tour of a box factory. It was almost as if the first 5 to 6 hours of gameplay meant nothing at the end other than a super drawn-out tutorial of the gameplay and the environment. The whole Copeland's camp thing and Tucker's storyline with Lisa, ugh! Even with Lisa's story growing at the end, I just didn't give a fuck about her. Like, who are you and why should I even care? Deacon at the beginning of the game is depicted as a cold-hearted, camp-jumping bounty hunter, essentially. So why is he getting all sorts of soft for this nobody? In my opinion, they should have made Lisa a lot younger and a lot more likable instead of this 16-year-old bratty, ungrateful, neurotic weirdo. And even with the story progressing into Lost Lake, where we're supposed to believe that Deacon and Boozer did something so horrendous that if they ever got caught by Iron Mike, he would kill him on the spot. Yeah, well, that didn't happen. In fact, Iron Mike, who literally looks like Mike from Breaking Bad with a 12-gallon hat on, treats him like a long-lost son, and even sticks up to him when Skizzo starts beefing with him. And Skizzo, can we talk a minute about Skizzo? Number one, forget the drip that basically is pulled out of an early 2000s suburban white kid's aspiring to be a rapper's closet. But the name alone tells me that the developers are about as in touch with youth culture as your grandma Greta down at the retirement home. Number two, he clearly is bad news. On so many levels, why would anyone put this guy in charge of anything? And number three, the predictability that he would double-cross us at some point in the game was so obvious that the game might as well have been called Revenge of Skizzo. But with all that said, it really wasn't that bad. I did really dig the Ripper enemy plotline. They were like white supremacist skinheads, only they worshipped zombies instead of racial superiority. And they took like an industrial-sized pallet's worth of crank. That's kind of cool. And to have the leader of their camp be some kind of former biker buddy that Deacon knew, that was pretty cool. I fuck with that. Even the Colonel storyline at the end was pretty dope, especially since you're so well kitted out at that point that joining a militia was really the only way to go. I don't know why they turned on that guy. He seemed like he ran a pretty tight ship. I'm on Team Colonel, baby. But with those positives, we gotta talk about Deacon's wife. And spoiler warning, if you haven't played the game. Alright, the twist with Deacon's wife at the end is super awkward when they're trying to re-spark their love for one another. It seemed forced and just mega cringe. So yeah, I can see why people dislike the storyline, but in my opinion, everything about this open world and the gameplay totally makes up for the game's lack of an intriguing plotline. Cruising around in your Harley in this world is just utterly brilliant. The graphics and the layout of this end of days Oregon wilderness is one of the coolest environments I've ever played in. There's something going on every freaking turn. Be it raiders trying to kill you and loot your shit, a horde of freakers that are 1 minute in a cave and the next are chasing you down an old dirt road, a camp of rippers or bad guys, or even just the wildlife itself. Everything in this world wants to kill you and eat your face like a junior bacon cheeseburger. And you know what? I love it. And another reason people seem to hate this game was Deacon himself. Now, do I think he's the most interesting, morally complex character I've ever played? No, not even close. If anything, he has the sophisticated intrigue of Sylvester Stallone's Cobra mixed with Daryl from The Walking Dead, which, the more I say it, the more it actually kind of sounds pretty cool. But if you don't overanalyze him and you take him for what he is, the blandness that is Deacon St. John goes away pretty quickly, and you can enjoy him for what he is. I even saw some gaming journalists in quotations complain about him being another cis white do no wrong action hero, that we're sick of these characters these days. And my response to that is, okay, for one, what does his skin color have to do with anything? And with that being said, what does who you sleep with have to do with anything? I'm really getting tired of this need to have everyone represented in media. Just because a character doesn't look or act like me doesn't mean that I can't be a fan of them. Okay, literally when I was a kid, my idols were Kobe Bryant, Ken Griffey Jr., Jay-Z, and The Rock. And yeah, last I checked, I look nothing like The Rock. I wish I did, but I don't. But I digress. If you didn't like Deacon St. John, then fine. I can understand. But then again, the gameplay highly outshines the complexities of our protagonist so much that I didn't find myself caring about his lack of character or poor acting. And that, in my opinion, is what makes this game so gosh darn rootin' tootin' good. That was my attempt at fixing my fucking potty mouth. Ah, shit. Did it again. Last but not least, we have to talk about the zombies. As I mentioned before in my previous videos, there are two genres of video games that really get the old juices pumping for your buddy Muddy. First and foremost is high fantasy medieval style RPGs like The Witcher, The Elder Scrolls, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Dragon Age, etc. But second and more substantially lately are zombie games. You already know that I'm a pom-pom waving captain of the cheerleading squad fanboy of The Last of Us, but that's just scratching the surface of my fandom for zombie games. For example, Dying Light 1 and 2, Resident Evil, Dead Space, Dead Rising, Dead Island, Dead Trigger, Red Dead, Undead Nightmare, Left 4 Dead, House of the Dead, The Walking Dead, and who could forget the classic Zombies Ate My Neighbors. So yeah, I freaking love zombie-centered media. As I'm sure you're aware, I'm definitely not alone in this. You're probably one of them if you clicked on this video. I mean, zombie games, movies, and TV shows are a figurative cultural atom bomb that sparks interest and engagement from fans and casual viewers alike. At one point, The Walking Dead literally outdid Sunday Night Football in ratings, which is utterly ridiculous if you're familiar with SNF's historic Nielsen ratings. But I think the fascination is twofold. Number one, we as a species are obsessed with the idea of our own mortality. What's going to happen to us when we die is a question as old as time. So when the answer to that question is one day we're all going to walk up and start eating people's brains, well, we love that shit. And number two, we are both horrified and captivated by the apocalypse. It's literally a quadrillion-dollar industry. Literally. So combine those two things and you have a cultural phenomenon in the works. Now in Days Gone, technically we're not dealing with zombies per se, but come on, we are, right? And no other game has a heart-pumping thrill ride of being chased by hundreds of them as Days Gone does. And the hordes are all over the place, so good luck escaping them. Taking out a horde in this game takes a lot more than just firepower. You need Deacon to be leveled up to a certain extent so that your stamina and focus, aka your bullet time, lasts long enough to escape your fuck-ups. It requires careful planning, planting mines, heaving objects their way, funneling them into a condensed area for easier takedowns, and lots of ammo. One wrong step and your intestines are on the menu, my friends. This makes for an excellent, thrilling experience as a gamer, and not enough could be said about it. However, the lore behind them is super weak. The name Freakers is absolutely terrible, and sometimes the AI could be pretty janky, so I get why a lot of people were turned off by this, but then again, the chilling way that they charge at you, the variety of different kinds of freakers, and the satisfaction of completing a horde takedown or clearing a pack of nests supersedes the criticism in my eyes. Much like the hate for Deacon, the freakers' flaws can be easily overlooked by the pros in this game. But nonetheless, after all the praise and accolades, I have to just say one thing about this game that I just can't buy. How the hell is everyone riding a motorcycle? Have you ever tried to ride one? It's hard as fuck and scary as shit. Now, I get the convenience. You can't tell me that the world just became bikers overnight, though. I'm sorry, Ben Studios. You lost me on that one. But with that being my own personal biggest critique, I must say Days Gone is really freaking good. Get it? Freaking? Because of the freakers. That was bad. But if you're like me and are also late to the party and are thinking about giving the game a try, I cannot suggest this game enough. You will not be let down, but you will need a little patience for the game to really get started. But hey, you know the old saying, good things come to those who wait. In other words, calm the fuck down and enjoy the game for what it is. You're a biker boy taking down zombies in the apocalypse. Enjoy it for the high-powered action and heart-pumping thrill ride. And that's all I have to say about that. Guys, Thanks for tuning in to another video. It's your buddy Muddy, aka AJ from Queens. Guys, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your ears taking in my horrible New York accent talking about video games. It means the world to me. So if you could just click that like button, man, and just share it or comment on the video or just watch it to the end. It means the world to me. So thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to subscribe, I'm almost at 500, which is really freaking exciting for me. I know it sounds like such a small number for some people, but it's my life goal right now. So again, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, see you next time. Peace. That was a good clap.